Welcome to Fringe Fanatics with Chad Lee and Chris Zane.
And we are back, ladies and gentlemen. This is Fringe Fanatics. I am Chris Zane.
And I am Chad Lee. Thanks for tuning in.
Yes, you might notice Chad looks a little bit different. He's got no more dreads.
Yep.
Things have changed.
Yeah.
You know, we all grow as people.
Giga Chad activated, basically.
Giga Chad.
Yep.
Chad Lee 2.0.
Full, embracing the full
Yeah.
Chad look. Yeah, it was time, man. It was 12 years coming. Yep, and finally went through and did it. We were talking about it today. I think that was like how I think when we met, they were just starting. Pretty sure.
Yeah, I think you had just started like growing out your hair to get ready to dread it. So yeah, it's been a long time. It's basically how I've known you
the whole time. Yep,
so.
Same. Like that's I've been with Hannah about 5.5 years, so that's the only way that she's known me.
Did she wake up next to you and she's like, ah?
Oh yeah, it was kind of weird. Like the whole day, she just kind of was like, we went to State House afterwards, and by the way, I had this idea. We'll get into this second, but I went to State House and she just kind of kept looking at me and be like, "This is nuts." Just like I can't even, don't even recognize you. But yeah,
well, here we are,
full on frat bro activated, man.
Nice. I like it. It's cool.
But State House, dude, I was thinking. Today is episode 81.
Mm-hmm.
It's the Terrell Owens episode.
Yeah, we'll get into that shortly.
Yep. I have an idea for episode 100. I've gotten to be pretty good friends with the guy that runs State House, the GM, Chris.
Okay.
It's a Chargers fan, and I really should have mentioned that we're having a Chargers podcast runner on tonight.
Yep.
But I think what we should do is do a live episode from there.
Okay.
If we can take all this there, if possible.
Yeah, we could.
And then there's so many sports fans there. They'll be walking up. We could just talk to them about their team, bullshit around, and eat some cheese dip.
Yeah, all right.
Yeah,
let's
just an
start
idea to play around.
Yeah,
with.
we'll have to reach out to them, see if they want to have us. You know, they might not like us.
I'm kind of a celebrity there.
Yeah, like I've paid enough money. They should let me do whatever the hell I want.
Yeah, definitely. But yeah, today is Terrell Owens, Terrell Eldorado Owens.
Yeah, Eldorado.
Dude, what a middle name. I never knew that was his
so nickname T.O., as we all know.
Yep.
He played 15 seasons in the old NFL, regarded as one of the greatest wide receivers of all time. Ranks third in NFL history in career receiving yards and receiving touchdowns. After playing college football and basketball at Chattanooga, Owens was selected in the third round of the 96 NFL draft by the 49ers. He was a member of the team for 7 seasons and then was traded to the Eagles in 2004. 2 years later, he signed with the Cowboys, where he spent 3 seasons. His career subsequently concluded after 1 season each with the Buffalo Bills, the Bengals. He also played for the Allen Wranglers of the old Indoor Football League.
Never heard of that.
And also in 2012, and returned to professional football in 2022 with fan-controlled football, the old FCF, which I totally forgot about.
Yeah.
He was like 40-some years old playing FCF.
Well, he was trying to come back.
Johnny
too.
Manziel.
He kept trying to show videos of him training, and he was fast. I think it was like a lot of videos that just last year.
He's still like mid-4s in the 40.
Really kept in shape, but we all know how much of a basket case he was. A 6-time Pro Bowl and 5-time first-team All-Pro selection, Owens also created a significant amount of controversy during his professional career and attracted attention for his flamboyant touchdown celebrations. He was inducted into the Pro Football Hall of Fame in 2018, his 3rd year of eligibility. I mean, we all know some of those touchdown celebrations. One of my favorites is when he was on the Eagles and then playing the Cowboys, ran to the middle of the field and laid in the star.
Yeah.
And I think the next year went to the Cowboys, I think is the way it went. Something like that. I can't remember.
He also had the pulling the
pin out,
the Sharpie out of his sock.
I thought that was really
ball.
creative. That was cool.
Yeah, that was like the beginning of the end of the cool celebrations before they got rid of them, and then they kind of allowed them all back now. And you guys can do whatever you want. If 10 guys want to sit down and row a boat in the end zone, whatever, just have at it.
It's nuts. I don't know if we went into it, but yeah, he ranks. Did you already mention where he's ranked? Because when we were just talking about Jerry Rice last week, I think he's 2nd in career receiving yards.
I think he's third, is what it said.
Okay.
So it was third in career receiving yards and receiving touchdowns.
I see, yeah.
So.
But, yeah, pretty damn good. That always kind of surprises me that he accumulated that much in stats. So.
Yeah, it's pretty surprising. He was definitely very productive, as they say.
Yeah.
His receptions, 1,078. Receiving yards, 15,934. And yards per reception, 14.8. That's a hell of an average.
Yeah.
And then touchdowns, 153. So.
He was dangerous. And then we remember the time where he played in the Super Bowl with, I believe it was a broken leg.
Yeah.
I think it was worth that. It was
he
a
broke
broken
his
leg. Yep. And still played through it. I think had 120 or 130 yards in that game. Tough guy, but unfortunately it's really tainted by a lot of his antics and kind of prima donna type behavior.
Yeah, he was the prototypical prima donna wide receiver.
And I think it's really because of him we don't really see Andy Reid want or, cool with playing or having a player like that anymore.
Yeah.
As soon as Tyreek started to kind of get some of that, he's like, all right, we don't need we all remember the holdout and the ab crunches in the driveway.
Yeah.
And Drew Rosenhaus, man, it's always
always true.
Drew Rosenhaus is close to it. So
he also gave us the awesome soundbite of him crying over Donovan McNabb.
Oh,
like,
that's my quarterback.
That's my quarterback, man. You can't do that.
Lots of memorable moments with Terrell Owens, man. Lots of them.
So he was one hell of a player, but he was nuts. So
yeah, he was a little wild, but hats off to him because he was an outstanding wide receiver.
Yes, indubitably.
It is episode 81. We have some KU whiskey to drink, thanks to my Uncle Jacob. He gave me this a while back.
Thanks,
and
Uncle
finally
Jacob.
Tapped into it.
Well,
haven't
cheers.
tried it yet. Cheers to you.
Here's to T.O. Here's to each and every one of you. Thanks for tuning in as always, and cheers to you, Chad. And here's to new beginnings.
Yep. A new chapter.
A new chapter.
R.I.P. to the Dreads.
Mm-hmm. Cheers.
I hope the folks at Locks of Love appreciate those.
They're just going to throw those
It's
away,
not bad. That's pretty good.
It caught me off guard for some reason.
I really thought it was going to be worse because when we get the Chiefs wine, it's horrible. It's just like a bad company that makes it. It's all about the bottle and stuff.
All right.
Not bad.
Feel,
you don't have
great.
any other drink. Do you need anything?
Yeah, I got
Coke?
water. I'm good. So we're here. It's episode 81, as Chad mentioned.
It is.
Yeah, we're cruising right along.
Tell me how your weekend went.
It was pretty good. It was very eventful. Friday. What do we do Friday? I always forget what we do, dude. Every time we do this, I have a fucking a brain fart.
Yeah.
And I just already killed our. Dang it! I cursed already.
Oh,
son of a. There goes our monetization.
Well, we made it 8 minutes. Almost
Dang it.
2 minutes away.
So yeah, Friday nights, just went home. Didn't do too much, if I remember correctly. Just kind of hung out. Saturday, helped Meryl. She was doing Market, the Beltane Festival, out at the I think it's called the Mystical Menagerie in Fort Morgan, which is really far from our house.
Yeah.
And I'm far, so it was like a 40-minute drive. And then I totally spaced one of the tables that was necessary for the setup, so I had to drive back and then all the way back. So I did a lot of driving on Saturday, but it was cool. Saturday was wild, though. It rained all day, which was crazy.
All day,
yeah.
man.
It's very rare that we have a day like that in
Colorado
where it's
doesn't rain a whole lot.
Yeah, it's just going to rain all day.
Yeah, we talked about it, that, she told me, she was like, after, living here, it pretty much decided that we could... And she feels, and I agree, we can never live in a Seattle or anything where it's just gloomy and cloudy all the time.
It screws with you because even Friday, it was kind of gloomy, and then Saturday it was gloomy, and after 2 days of that, there is really that. I don't feel good.
Well, it's a real thing. There's more people per capita on antidepressants and anxiety medication up there in the Northwest than anywhere else.
Yeah, it's true. That's why Alaska, there's a lot of suids there.
Yeah, a lot
because it's dark for 30 days. And 30 nights,
and then
Josh
Vampire comes out.
But so the Saturday, I had plans to do a bunch of shit around the house, and then rain all day, so didn't do that. But we did practice Saturday because we hadn't got together in like a week since Brett's down. But we went and saw Brett.
That's cool.
And he's now bionic. He's like the $6 million man. So
we can rebuild him.
He's
better.
Now, whenever
stronger.
he walks, it's like
faster.
I can't actually remember what the sound is for the $6 million man, but it's something like that. So he's up and walking around, which is cool. I took a picture. I was like, I'm gonna take a picture of your legs, and now I'm gonna send him to Meryl because she's not gonna believe that your legs are straight now, because he literally looked like he rode a horse. So I might have mentioned that last week, but yeah, he's back.
That's wild.
So we're actually gonna pick him up next weekend and bring him out to hang out for a play date for practice. So he's feeling up
just
for
gonna
it.
Hang out and stuff?
No, he's gonna play.
He could probably sit down and play.
Yeah, he's just gonna sit there.
Oh, that's awesome.
So yeah, that's cool. Then Sunday, I just kind of hung out. I went and watched the Avs game at my parents', which was cool because they won, which is nice.
Yeah, they played really good.
Dominated, which was nice. Then,
5 goals in the third period, right? Is that it?
No, I think it was 4.
Okay,
I think it was 4 because it's 2-1.
All right, yeah, that's what it was.
But yeah, that was cool. And then we watched Ricky Stenicki last night, which was well worth it.
Yeah.
It sounds like a dumb name for a movie.
Oh, it's hilarious.
The plot premise of him coming up with it is pretty dumb, but I was laughing hysterically.
I think it was a great premise because it's a really original idea. Like
the name was the only thing that I was like, he would have come up with something better than Stenicki.
Stenicki is
pretty silly. But I get it. It works at the end of it. And then John Cena.
He's so great.
He's so good.
It's so awesome. Yeah, just recently I listened to the podcast New Heights just did last week with Santino, and he talked a lot about that. How much Cena was just such a professional, willing to show up on time. It's just a lot of it. It's like The Rock, how like a lot of those guys coming from wrestling take acting so serious because that's what they were doing. They take wrestling so serious. So it's the same thing. I mean, anybody that says they don't make comedy movies like they used to with like Knocked Up and shit like that or Superbad. Yeah, it's not as often, but they do. Ricky Stenicki falls in that category.
Yeah.
It's raunchy. It's definitely pushes the envelope on a lot of topics, and so I appreciate that.
Yeah, shit, what was I just gonna say? I mean, there's most like movies that I laugh that hard at are not meant to be laughed at. It's like something terrible or just like so stupid that it's probably not meant to be funny, but I'm laughing at it.
Right.
But that was one of the few movies like in the last while where I was like, that was like a legitimate like laugher.
It for real was.
So it was pretty good. But
nice.
How was your weekend? You Saturday you went and got a haircut. So.
Yep. Finally shaved off the mane.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that was good. That was a wild experience. Just trying to like get through it because you prepare yourself for it, but when you haven't had a haircut in 12 years, it's like you gotta like get worried. It felt like I was gonna go to the hospital and like, I was gonna like stay there for a few days.
Like,
it was so strange.
I'm sure it was probably a long process.
Oh no, she got done in 30 minutes.
Oh damn!
She killed it. Yeah, we went over to Swank Salon.
The hedge trimmer down.
Just cut it up. It was hilarious because after she cut him, it looked really goofy. Of course,
yeah.
Hannah was a little worried
because she just probably had like a poofy head.
It was like just kind of like short, but no evenness. And all.
Yeah,
and if you remember, if you see, there's like patches right here. But she said that's from like when they would get twisted and like it would like pull my hair out pretty much. And so that's gonna grow back. But so it just kind of looks like I got in a fight with a weed trimmer or something for a little bit. But
it is what it is. It's part of the process.
Totally expected it to be bald. I thought for real I'd have to just shave my head, and she was able to save it and kind of give me this type of haircut. So Hannah was very pleased with that.
Yeah, honestly, I thought you were just gonna have a shaved head.
Me too.
I thought you were gonna have not bicked, but I thought you were just gonna have a buzzed head.
Yeah, I do appreciate.
I honestly thought that's how they do it. Just be like,
oh yeah. I really thought that was gonna be it, and I was like fully prepared. I even ordered a hat that I was gonna wear afterwards. I was just gonna be like Joe Pesci from Home Alone, just a stocking hat all the
like
time.
A cancer patient.
Somewhat, I guess. Yeah. But it was hilarious. I love the honesty of my grandma from it because she found out through Facebook and then called me on Sunday, and just like that passive kind of like just that brutal honesty that grandma kind of gives. She just told me, she was like, You know, I never said anything about your dreads, but
they're
I like this a
stupid.
lot more. And I'm like, okay, I get the point. Yeah. I love that you never said anything about it earlier, but I'm glad you like this.
Thanks, Grandma. I love you.
Got the point there. But yeah, on Friday night, we watched that movie Dream Scenario with Nicolas Cage, another A24 film.
Yeah.
Dude, this is a wild movie. Everybody should watch it because it's just a total original premise where everybody randomly dreams about Nicolas Cage's character who plays this professor who's the most boring guy, and so it's so strange that he shows up in people's dreams, and he finds it super fascinating, just embraces all the fame, and then things just take a turn for the worst where, you know, in the beginning it was just him just popping up in dreams not doing anything, and then it became him like assaulting people and becoming very violent in the dreams, so nobody ever wanted anything to do with him. And he's like, I'm not even doing anything, like it's just all fake, and it just totally turns into his life just totally taking a downward spiral. But I mean, Nicolas Cage just steals the show, and it got a lot of like accolades from different critics and stuff like that, so definitely a very different and unique movie to watch, which I highly recommend.
I feel like I need to go on like a A24 like wormhole and just watch a bunch of really weird movies because I haven't watched like the last few that have come out.
Yeah, they're all really good and they're all very, very different. But yeah, that's pretty much all we did. And then we watched the Nuggets Saturday night. That was kind of a bummer, but you know, we were drinking during it, so that kind of helped.
Yeah, I also watched the Nuggets.
Yeah,
that was a bummer.
But they're gonna bounce back tonight.
Yep, that's what's happening at 8 p.m. tonight. So
That's true.
We are looking forward to that.
Oh yeah.
Well, I guess we'll go ahead and start getting into the headlines real quick for a little bit while we eat some time up here. We're going to get into the NFL, but first...
Headlines! Get your headlines here!
That's right. As always, each and every week, we bring you the biggest news around the major sports. And as always, we like to kick it off with the NFL.
Personal foul, 69, offense. He was giving them the business.
That's right. And we got some Kelsey Bros news.
Yep.
Double dose of it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Good news for
we
both
got
of them
double
today.
dose later, too. So a little prelude, if you will.
Oh, yeah.
Double
Good
dose
fitting.
there, too.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I'll let you take this one, as you told me about the first one.
Yeah, Jason Kelsey signed with ESPN today. I think it was Robert Griffin, I believe, that is the one that's being replaced on Monday Night Countdown. And I was really curious if this had anything to do with his feud with what's his face last year. I was trying to think. It was somebody that like he was like just really criticizing and laid into him. I can't think of who the hell it is right now, but
I can't either because he had that podcast and he was going off with a bunch of people too.
Really was. I know it's totally failing me right now.
But yeah, I'm not surprised.
Jerry Jeudy, wasn't it? Jerry Jeudy? I thought it was a Broncos.
No, that was Steve Smith.
Oh, okay.
That was going off with Jerry Jeudy, but a lot of people had issues with Jerry Jeudy.
Yeah, that's true. But yeah, I kind of shocked. I really thought it was going to be Prime that snagged Jason Kelsey, but maybe ESPN gave him a little bit more money. I haven't seen the details on it yet, but really psyched to see him on there. I'm glad it's not like a everyday thing like on First Take or anything like that, because I think it's important that he, you know, takes this time in retirement to spend some time with his family. All he's got to do is spend 1-2 days a week showing up for Monday Night Football. That'd be cool.
Yeah, and then he's also got, of course, the New
old
Heights podcast. So.
Which is, did you see the news about them possibly signing a deal for $100 million for a new contract?
Like Joe Rogan?
Yeah,
The
not
old
quite
Joe
as
Rogan
much,
deal.
but yeah, $100 million with I can't remember the fucking production company that does it, but yeah,
Damn.
they're about to get paid.
That's cool.
Yep.
Well, speaking of getting paid and going to the other Kelsey brother, the Chiefs assign Travis Kelsey to a 2-year, $34.25 million contract, making him the highest paid tight end in the NFL. And it's got $17 million guaranteed for this season, and the rest is guaranteed on the third day of the 2025 new league year.
Yep. Well deserved.
yeah,
so
definitely.
much well deserved. He's been I want to say like the 4th or 5th highest paid tight end over the last like 3 years. So now I think he's going to be making upwards around like what, 17 million a year.
Yeah, it's basically 17 this
Yeah.
year, and then like 17.25 next year.
Yeah. Well, I think this goes out 4 years because
'cause
he
it's
was
an
already
extension.
it was an already extension.
okay.
So he was already signed for 2 years this year and then the next year. But then this should extend it out the next 2 years, which, who knows how that's going to go. But at least it kind of gives him that boost of confidence.
Yeah,
And
a little boost.
we just drafted a new tight end that
I
had
saw that.
the most touchdowns as a tight end in all of FBS. So
Dang.
I was super psyched. That was a big need. I am not, I guess, like worried at all about like, like Kelsey's kind of older and he took Noah Gray. He took Blake Bell under his wing. So I'm sure he's going to do the same thing with him. He's all about elevating, all the boats around him. So
Yeah.
I think it's going to help. But yeah.
Cool.
Yep. Good
Well,
for Travis.
Good for Travis. In other news, Ezekiel Elliott has gone back home to Papa Jury.
The prodigal son returns.
Yes, after averaging like 3.1 yards a carry with the Patriots. He's now rejoining the Cowboys on a 1-year deal that has a maximum value of $3 million. So he's now back with the Cowboys, who took him with the 4th overall pick in the 2016 NFL Draft.
Wow, he was the 4th overall pick out of Ohio State. I
Yeah.
guess he did he did break the record for the
Remember
most
he
rushing
on draft night wore a crop top. He cut his dress shirt because that's what he was famous for.
That's what he always did. Yeah.
So,
Well, also it just came out right when we started this. Another ex-Cowboy is signing with the-
hold on.
You got the breaking news.
Hold on. I think I do somewhere. Maybe I don't.
I didn't think we had one.
We did have one, but I think I might have taken it off. Never mind. Okay, continue. Sorry.
It just came out 5 minutes ago. Wide receiver Michael Gallup plans to sign a 1-year deal worth up to $3 million with the Las Vegas Raiders, per Adam Schefter.
with the Raiders.
Yep. Who just got Brock Bowers? So, yeah, they got some weapons there now.
Yeah, but who's throwing him the football?
Mr. Minshew himself.
Mr. Gardner Minshew.
Minshew-mania.
Or Aiden Collins.
Yep, could be one or the other.
Farva Light.
Yep.
So, that was about it for the NFL news. Let me see. Do I have anything else?
Well, we're gonna talk about our draft breakdowns and stuff, but I think we could do that after the musical break if you want.
Okay. Yeah, we could do that. What else should we talk about for the time being?
Well, we can get into the NHL headlines. We got about 8 minutes.
Yeah, let's go ahead and do that, and then if anything, we'll just cover let's just
come
run
back to
through
it.
the headlines, and we'll hit the playoffs, and we'll do the rundown of the draft after the music break.
Yep.
This is how you make a show on the fly, people.
That's right. No editing
so,
here.
yeah, let's get into the NBA real quick.
Take it roll! Take it roll! Outlet! Outlet! Rain dance! Sandy, come on! Sandy!
T, come out. I'm burning. My lungs are burning.
Yes, and Wolves coach Chris Finch, his legs are burning after he was injured in a sideline collision with Mike Conley with 1:40 left in the fourth quarter. Unfortunately for him, it does sound like he may have tore his patellar tendon, and it's questionable as to if he's going to need surgery. He may have to miss some games if he does get surgery. So pretty big bummer for them. He ended up having to get helped off the court. Could not put any weight on it. So this could be kind of a thing for them. You losing your head coach, right before what could be the biggest series in your team's history so far against the Nuggets.
Yeah,
so,
very much. They got their first sweep of the franchise's history.
yeah.
Can't believe it never happened with Garnett, but he never really did much on the playoffs whenever he was there.
No.
They didn't really have anybody
That's
other
why
than
he
him.
left and went to the Celtics.
Yep.
The old Celtics.
Yep.
What else in the NBA?
Well, Dame is probably done. It sounds like in that last game, I think it was the game before that, actually.
yeah, he injured his knee. He Or it was like he
It's
got
his Achilles is
Was
what
it
they're
his
worried
Achilles?
about.
'Cause
That's so.
I saw it like he got his foot stepped on as he was driving to the basket and it twisted weird.
He's doubtful for the game tomorrow night, and it's not looking good for the Bucks because Giannis isn't returning anytime soon.
No, they were worried he's probably going to miss this whole series, and it's not going to really matter because they're not going to make it past the Pacers. So, but
that was an awesome game, though. We should bring it up. I think it was Saturday. Yeah, just Saturday during the day. I was watching that game, and it went to 1 or 2 overtimes. I think it was 1 overtime.
Yeah,
and then Halliburton hit a shot right at the last second. And they all thought like Middleton was going to seal it up because he hit a 3 that was clutch. It was an amazing game. Went to overtime, and then sure enough, Halliburton drives in, hits a floater, takes the lead with like 5 seconds left. It's a great game.
Yeah, it was a good game. There were some real good games this weekend. Big thing is, what are the Suns going to do moving forward as they have a lot of questions after they get swept. They acquired Beal this last year, who turns 31 in a few months. He has no trade clause. There is 3 years and $161 million remaining on his deal. Kevin Durant, Devin Booker, both. They just signed Grayson Allen. They're in the second tier of the luxury tax stuff, so they can no longer sign any like mid-market guys, so they can't build a team around them. Mm-hmm. They traded, I think, like 3 or 4 draft picks to get Beal. So I have no idea what they're going to do moving forward. They've completely hamstrung that organization.
I would imagine they're probably going to get rid of either Beal or Booker.
They're going to have to get something back.
I think that's the only way to possibly get any other players.
But Beal could just say, nah, I'm just going to play here.
Good. Yeah. Very
and
possible.
they'll just be on the hook for all that money. Well, either way, they're on the hook for that money unless they get a trade partner. But, that was just when it first happened, everybody was like, oh, my God.
Well, going back to October, there was quotes from Booker and Kevin Durant where they were quoted saying, how's anybody going to guard us?
Yeah.
And
it's pretty easy. Just let them score, and then nobody else can do anything.
They really weren't able to figure out a way to play defense.
Yeah.
Kevin Durant came out and said that he never felt comfortable with his role in that offense. And it's just great because we see the success of teams like the Nuggets, the Timberwolves. You can kind of call that a super team, and really wasn't like so much of a superstar in the beginning. He's kind of built himself up to be a superstar.
Yeah.
But it's just look at the Thunder. The Thunder have kind of like built a superstar team there.
I think we're kind of seeing the end of the super team, and I think this was like the last failed the last ditch effort at making one, and it just so happens that it just keeps happening to Kevin Durant because anywhere he goes to try and build a super team, it just blows up.
Well, and it really speaks volumes to
the only place
his
it
character.
worked was Golden State, which he joined the best team in the regular season and in the playoffs at that time. And won a championship with them.
Well, and he didn't really have to be the leader on that team. It was more so Steph and Draymond. It's always Draymond that was really the leader, is what I heard. Steph doesn't really vocalize a whole lot to be the leader, just chews on his mouthpiece the whole time. But KD, that's what he's widely criticized for, is not being a leader. It comes up all the time where he doesn't really have that type of characteristic, and I think we see that where he just can't really. He has all the talent in the world. There's no denying that he is a unicorn when it comes to basketball. But it takes a lot of other characteristics to lead a team to a championship.
Everybody says he's basically like the quintessential, like, if you could go to a lab and build a shooter, that's Kevin Durant. And it's just killed them, though. They can't shoot the 3 ball at all. They have nobody that shoots really well outside. In 3-point range, you have Booker and Durant that primarily score from mid-range jumper area. Yep. And it's hard to not fail when you can't shoot 3-pointers, when that's how the league is pretty much, moved to being all about.
Yeah.
So.
And I don't think there's any chance of them going forward with that 3. I think we're going to see it change up big time next year.
Yeah, definitely.
Well, we're coming upon 5:30, and as you get it ready, I will kind of give a little preview. We are bringing on, it's going to be a little bit of a crossover episode with Chris being a Broncos fan, me being a Chiefs fan, we're going to do a little deep dive into the AFC West, but focus on the Chargers. This goes to show you we are unbiased and objective.
Yeah.
This is a pretty big guest here. Comes from the Locked On Chargers podcast, David Droegemeier. And this guy does great content, great analysis. Been doing it, I think it said on his bio, for a little over 5 years, I think it was. And they just covered the draft extensively. So we're going to have him on to talk about how the Chargers were kind of great as having the best draft picks. So
yeah, so
we'll
let's
see what he has to say about
let's give him a jingle jangle as you hear the ringing.
Hello.
Hey, what's up, David? How's it going, man? This is Chris.
Hey, going well. Yeah, thank you guys for giving me the opportunity to jump on the show.
No, you're
Sorry,
good, man.
we just got home. Sorry.
Oh, no, you're all good.
Yeah.
Sorry to get you walking in the door, man. If you need a
No,
second
that's
to
all
get
good.
settled, by all means. But thank you for hopping on with us, man. It's greatly
Yeah.
appreciated for you taking time out of your busy evening to, indulge us with your presence for a little bit.
Oh no, no worries, man. I'm happy to do it.
Sweet. Well, if you got a second, give us just a quick rundown. We kind of filled the listeners in on a little bit about you, but give us a little rundown of yourself, if you will.
Yeah, sure. I mean, my name is David Droegemeier. I'm one of the co-hosts of the Locked On Chargers podcast and working for the Locked On Podcast Network. We do 5 audio-video shows a week, 11 months out of the year.
Wow.
So we are constantly creating content. The only time that we have any downtime is July. Kind of that dead period in between, the rookie mini camps and, before training camp gets rolling around. So we are covering the team all the time. We're super plugged in. So, yeah, I'm 32 years old. I live in Central Texas. I'm originally from San Diego. Been covering the Chargers for almost a decade. Professionally, right around 7 years. So something I absolutely, truly love and adore. And so I'm happy to jump on another podcast to talk about the Bolts.
Yeah, definitely. And I mean, the Locked On Podcast Network is one of the quintessential podcast networks for all of the teams. I mean, we have a Locked On Broncos podcast, and
I listen to Locked On Nuggets. I listen to Locked On Chiefs. That's why I thought it'd be great to have you on. Chad here. I'm the one who reached out, man. I really appreciate you coming on.
Hey, Chad. How's it going, brother?
Good. Thank you for coming on. I figured it's great, we'll have just a little bit of a deep dive on the AFC West because we always have a good dynamic where we're constantly bickering like a couple of brothers with him being a Broncos fan, Chiefs fan here. So your Chargers, I mean, I really wanted to get a Chargers guy on, and when I looked into you guys' podcast, you're perfect for it. So, I mean, to be honest, that's the team that I'm the most worried about in the AFC West.
Yeah, I mean, I think for good reason. Obviously, the Chargers have a probably top 5, top 6 quarterback in the league, and now they actually have a legitimate head coach to kind of coincide with that talent at quarterback. And, they made a lot of changes. They got rid of the general manager, got rid of the head coach, almost completely new coaching staff. And they're really kind of switching philosophies from more of a finesse team to more of a physical, get in your face, run the ball down your throat type of Jim Harbaugh-led football team, which, is going to be I think it's going to be a culture shock for a lot of teams out there that are just not used to the Chargers bringing that brand of football to them. Basically, Jim Harbaugh said, hey, when they come play the Chargers, I want them to know that they played the Chargers, and I want them to feel it when they leave our stadium.
Yeah, and that's the one thing that is definitely worrisome about Harbaugh joining is he likes to build from the trenches out, which I think is one of the best ways to build a team, and that's what I kind of was surprised that they went Joe Alt with Neighbors being there, but
you're not the only one.
Yeah, with round 1, I mean, Joe Alt, though, you look at some of his stats and stuff, and the guy's a beast in terms of an offensive lineman, and that kind of fits the MO of what Harbaugh likes to do.
I mean, Joe Alt, you look at him, I think he gave up 0 sacks last year. He's honestly, I think, pretty clearly the best tackle prospect in all of college football. I wanted an offensive skill player, but honestly, it was more so because I was stuck in the past, and I was, stuck in the, oh, well, we're just going to go draft another wide receiver, just like they did with Mike Williams when they drafted him 7th overall a couple of years ago. And
That was right
that's just
before
not how
Patrick,
Jim
too.
Harbaugh does it. Yeah, that's right.
Yep.
That's right. That's just not what Jim Harbaugh does. And, he came in and right away from his opening press conference, he said, hey, we are going to run the football. We are going to build up the line. We're going to beef up the line of scrimmage is the word that he used. And we're going to bring a physical brand of football. And, part of that, in his first draft back in the NFL, he kind of put his stamp on what he was saying all along, which was we're going to go out and we're going to get the best offensive lineman in this draft, and we're going to bring him in to protect Justin Herbert from guys like Max Crosby and guys like Mike Dana and guys like Chris Jones. We're going to do our best to try to keep him upright and give him a running game because he's never had that. He's never had a consistent running game, and he's never had real, true protection. I think everybody knows that when Justin Herbert has time, he can dice up any defense in the NFL.
Yeah, and that's something he's definitely been lacking, and it's been a struggle for him, which has been definitely a bummer. And there was all the trade talks, people reaching out. Are they going to trade?
Yeah, it was a bunch of nonsense.
Yeah,
It was never going to happen.
It was so
People
smart
were
to stay
were
at that
stupid.
pick.
yeah.
I heard
Yeah.
on you guys' podcast when I was trying to brush up on it a little bit just from a few days ago. I knew Joe Alt was good, but I'm glad I listened to you guys' podcast because you guys mentioned that. Correct me if I'm wrong, if I'm getting these numbers wrong, but I think he had 740 snaps at tackle, gave up 1 sack and only 13 pressures his whole time.
No, man, you got the numbers exactly correct. And yeah, that's spectacular. I mean, that's absolutely ridiculous. And I think the only thing that kind of gave me a little bit of pause, and it was never about Joe Alt, the player. I mean, Joe Alt, the player, is obviously truly phenomenal, but the Chargers have an all-pro left tackle on the left side in Rashawn Slater. And so I was like, are they going to move Rashawn Slater or are they going to move Joe Alt to the right side? And I think it's all pretty clear now that, they're going to move Joe Alt to the right side. He's going to be the right tackle probably. So you're going to have 2 bookend tackles protecting Justin Herbert, hopefully, for the next decade.
Yeah, and what's your thought process? Would you rather them have gone J.C. Latham there, or are you now kind of warmed up to the Joe Alt pick?
Yeah, I mean, for me, if it was going to be offensive lineman, I think Joe Alt was head and shoulders above the rest. I think, the stats that you just read off, that kind of indicates that. And also, he's clearly the best pass protector in this class. I mean, he's a very good run blocker, but more so with his intelligence than, his kind of physicality. I mean, he's very, very smart. Also, he's very athletic. I mean, this guy can run for being 6'8". It's kind of scary, the athleticism. I mean, one of my notes is he's a physical freak, and also has very quiet mechanics. He has an enormous wingspan. Obviously, you're going to have that when you're 6'8", but
Yeah.
this is a guy who is going to come in and he's going to start for the Chargers right away.
Oh, sorry about that.
Yeah, posting a 5.05 40-yard dash at the combine with a 1.73 10-yard split. I mean, he's just so athletic. I think we're going to really see a lot of that Michigan offense ran there at LA, and it's tough because I'm trying to be as objective as possible right now. I respect what's going to happen there, but also I'm worried as hell, man. I mean,
Yeah.
you're the Chargers.
Hey, legitimate. I get it. You're a fan, man, and before you didn't really have much reason to be that concerned because you had an edge in the coaching department, and you knew that the defense wasn't great, and you knew that they were pretty one-dimensional on offense because they didn't have any semblance of a consistent running game.
Yeah.
Now that's going to change. That is completely going to change. They bring in Jesse Minter from Michigan, who is one of the best defensive coordinators. Actually, he authored the greatest defense in all of college football last year en route to a national championship.
Yep.
So he's bringing that along with Junior Colson over to the LA Chargers, and he's going to bring hopefully a more consistent defense. But on offense, Harbaugh is going to run the ball, and he's going to protect Justin Herbert, and he's going to be able to grind out the clock. And the thing is defenses never respected Justin Herbert's ability to go deep because all they had to do was make sure and stop the run and make him dink and dunk. And Justin Herbert can do that. He's very accurate, but after a while, I mean, those close throws, man, they tend to get picked off or they tend to get batted down. And so now when you have more of a balanced offense, you keep the defense on their toes, and you can't allow them to stack the box or, keep a roof over the coverage because they have to be concerned with the running game now. It's going to be a legit weapon. Greg Roman's going to run the ball, and he's going to have some wrinkles mixed in there for Justin. You don't have a quarterback like Justin Herbert and you don't throw the ball. I mean, it's going to happen. But they're going to establish that running game, and it's going to be a major focal point of the offense.
Well, let's move to that because I think that's a great point because you guys snagged Ladd McConkey, which just fits into Harbaugh's offense so perfectly. So when you talk about that balanced offense, I think that's where we're going to see this guy. I think you guys mentioned it where I think we're going to see Ladd McConkey get 80 catches at least for the next few years, and I think that's such a high likely possibility because of his production at Georgia and his Swiss Army type. He's been compared to like a Puka Nacua. So I definitely could see his success just flourish there.
Yeah, Ladd McConkey is a guy that's going to fit right in. He's an excellent run blocker, which, that's a big part of the offense, and big part of running the football is having receivers on the outside that can block. Also has really strong hands, and he runs almost every route in the route tree, and he has legitimate speed. This is a 4.39 40 guy that also has quickness, blow you away. And I think if you look at the stats and you say, oh, well, maybe this guy's not going to be that good, that does not tell the entire story. There's a lot of mouths to feed with that Georgia offense, namely Brock Bowers, who went in the first round. He was a huge part of that target share. So I think, in the NFL with the Chargers' current wide receiver room, Ladd McConkey is going to get a ton of touches. He is going to get a ton of receptions in his rookie year, and I think he's going to complement what the Chargers are going to do this year.
Yeah, it was definitely a great pick. Everybody thought they were going to go wide receiver in the first round, and everybody thought McConkey was going to go at the top of the first round. At the bottom of the first round. Sorry, excuse me. And to fall or have him fall to you at round 2 is just a steal right there.
Yeah, we loved it. After, I guess somebody kind of said to me, like, would you rather get Neighbors and then get the 15th ranked tackle, or would you rather get the best tackle, unilaterally the best tackle in the draft, and then get maybe the 7th or 8th best wide receiver? And I think, that made a ton of sense to me after somebody kind of explained it that way. So grabbing Ladd McConkey, and the Chargers moved up to do that to make sure they secured one of the guys that they coveted. I think he's going to come in and he's going to fit right away with Justin Herbert, going to get on the same page with him. And, this is a guy that's going to be able to stretch the field, and he's going to be sneaky quick. There's going to be some yak opportunities that I think a lot of people are not going to expect.
Definitely. That's the one thing about, the draft these days is it does seem like, offensive linemen are very, very hard to come by, especially ones that, you can bookend an offensive line with. But it seems like you can find these wide receivers who are, if not just as good as round 1 guys, but just as productive as round 1 guys. We saw it with the supposed greatest wide receiver class ever. Justin Jefferson was the best one in that class, and there was 3 or 4 guys that went ahead of him. So
yeah, crazy.
Yeah.
The Chargers lost Keenan Allen this offseason via trade. He was a 3rd-round pick. I don't think anybody would look at Keenan Allen's stats that he's accrued over a decade-long career in the NFL and say, he's a 3rd-round pick. He's not expected to do that. Well, that's just not the case. You can find wide receivers up and down the draft that are going to come into the NFL and be productive for one reason or another.
Yeah, I watched a lot of Keon Coleman last year, and I was really hoping the Chiefs would snag him. He just caught so many jump balls, and then he ends up going to the Bills at the top of the 2nd round. And that's a guy that it's just like you look at guys like Tyreek. Tyreek got drafted, I think, in the 3rd or 4th round.
Yeah,
it's all about scouting and how they fit into an offense. Perfect example I wanted to bring up: Quentin Johnston had a horrible year last year, had so many drops. I think it falls a lot on coaching. I think Harbaugh is going to coach a lot of that out of him.
Well, I think that also Quentin has to go out there and put the work in too. Quentin, and also the way he was used. I think probably the first 7 or 8 games that he was, going to get a ton of touches. They tried to use him as a deep ball wide receiver, and that's just not the type of profile that he brings to the table. He is a guy that You throw a wide receiver screen too. You get him on the slants. You get him on the drag routes across the middle of the field, and you let him turn into a running back with the ball in his hands, because that's exactly what happens. He's a guy that I don't think I saw anybody actually, like, by themselves put him on the ground. Like, he was amazing at breaking tackles. We just got to get those hands right. And he's been working. He's been working on the hands. And I do feel like, that previous coaching staff just did not develop players across the board, regardless of position, well enough that they should have. I think that's a big thing, is when prospects come into the NFL from college, they're not a finished product. And I think a lot of people need to understand that the development doesn't stop when you get drafted. It just accelerates. So I think, that's up to the coaches to be able to pull that out of them, and also put the player in better positions to utilize what they do well and have success.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, speaking of coaching, you mentioned the previous coaching staff. How pumped were you guys when they finally pulled the trigger and got Brandon Staley out of there? Because I know all about dysfunctional coaching staffs, being a Broncos fan over the last 8-9 years now. So,
yeah, that's definitely fair. It was coming. After that disastrous loss to the Raiders, I mean, it was something that it had to happen. Like, that was just such an embarrassment that never should have happened. I mean, I don't care what the team looks like. You never should lose to the Raiders that badly. I don't care. I really don't care what the team looks like.
Yeah, on a Thursday night game where everybody sees it. And, it's just like, it'd be one thing, but Brandon Staley had so many instances. I mean, he had the playoff game where he lost to the Jags down like 27-0 or something, right?
Yeah, you don't need to remind me of that. Yeah.
Sorry, I thought he should have been fired after that. But no, I mean, I said for the past few years, I was like, man, there's totally a bunch of times where the Chargers came so close to beating the Chiefs, but it was like Brandon Staley beating himself by going for it on 4th and 2 on his own 30 or something like that.
Yeah.
Where he shot himself in the foot. So now that when I saw that they got Harbaugh, that's when I was like, okay, now I think there's a very likely chance that the Chiefs are uncrowned next year.
Well, let me pose a question to you guys. How many times over the last couple of seasons, while Brandon Staley's been the head coach, did you feel like the Chargers had a coaching advantage when they came into a game?
Never.
Never.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
And now that they have Jim Harbaugh, who has one of the highest winning percentages in NFL history, we can't have that same conversation because it's a different one.
Yeah.
Now they have somebody who has a proven track record that has won literally at every single stop, whether it's the University of San Diego, whether it's Stanford, whether it's the 49ers, whether it's Michigan. He has turned, and not only won, but he has won quickly. Yeah. He's turned really bad organizations, really bad teams into very good teams in very short order. And if you do it once, it can be an anomaly. But when you do it several times, that's a pattern of success. And that's what we expect with Jim Harbaugh as the coach of the Chargers.
Yeah, it's definitely an envious position to be in right now, and you've even got my buddy over here worried about his Chiefs being unseated as AFC West champions.
I mean, when you got a guy living out of his RV who doesn't care about having a mansion out there.
Yeah.
I mean, who was it? I think it was Cliff Kingsbury that
let's not kid ourselves. It's probably a really nice RV.
Oh, we've seen pictures.
Oh, yeah, it's a nice RV for sure.
But I mean, when you're willing to do that, and he mentioned that all he cares about is just the work and the team instead, a lot of. I mean, I remember when Cliff Kingsbury was the coach of the Cardinals, and you see his mansion, you see McVay's mansion and everything like that. He doesn't care about that. I mean, Harbaugh came out and talked about how you really have grown up, and it's like something along the lines of like being a man or like learning the trades of manhood when you have to figure out waste because of the RV.
Oh, yeah.
And it's like, damn, dude, this guy's really going...
with that black water and the gray water.
all out.
Yeah, I mean, he's a meat and potatoes type of guy.
Seriously,
I mean, he's all about the work. He wants to do it the hard way. Like, he believes in hard-nosed physical football, and, that brand is probably a little bit old school in a passing league, but it works. It works. And so we'll see what it looks like in his, inaugural season as the Chargers head coach, but I think we're all very excited about having a legitimate head coach, a guy that a lot of people can say, okay, that guy is somebody we should fear and we should be ready for. We have to put our time in to game plan against because we know this guy's going to bring it.
Yeah, I mean, you got two backs there with J.K. Dobbins. I mean, you guys have like a pipeline directly from Baltimore with Greg Roman, the Gus Edwards. I mean, it's like these brothers are just going to share knowledge, share players back and forth. I mean, it's almost like they're double teaming up on the rest of the league. I mean, I can't wait to see the Ravens versus Chargers. I think that's going to draw huge ratings.
Yeah, man.
That's probably going to be a primetime game if I had to put some money on it.
I would guarantee it. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
But let's get into one more pick. One that I saw that you guys were super stoked for, Mr. Junior Colson. Harbaugh had to get his guy. You know he was going to get a Michigan guy, and he got, like you mentioned on the podcast, the defensive MVP for the best defense in college football last year.
Yeah, Junior Colson is going to be one of those rare rookie linebackers that's probably going to start day one. And you just don't see that a lot. I mean, a linebacker is a position that is one of those that takes a couple of years really to develop, to get comfortable to play it at the NFL level, because it is a much different speed. I mean, it's a much different level of competition from college to the pros. Other positions get better, I would say better coaching, better training, and they're able to step in and be productive right away. Linebacker is not typically one of those positions that I would say coincide with that. But with Junior Colson, he has such an advantage because he was the green dot. He was the guy calling the plays for the Michigan defense. He intimately knows that defense. He knows where everyone's supposed to be. And also it doesn't hurt that he's a damn good football player. I mean, he's really smart. He has really good strength. He has good mobility. He can run sideline to sideline. He knows where to be in coverage. Like he doesn't always have the ball production, but he disrupts the passing lanes because he knows where he's supposed to be. So, and having a guy like that was the commander of your defense, that is going to step in and bring that defense to the NFL, is going to help all of his teammates around him, because he knows exactly what the coaches are asking them to do. Sometimes those things get lost in translation. Sometimes when a coach says something, it doesn't resonate or it doesn't click right away. But when a fellow player says it or shows it or is able to demonstrate it, then they're able to learn it a lot quicker. And once you know the defense, you can go out there and play fast. They don't want these guys thinking out there. They want them to read and react, go out there and play fast because they know the defense. This is a pick that made way too much sense, and I was astounded that Junior Colson was still available in the third round. That right there was the perfect marriage of need and availability at that pick. So I think it's something he's going to make an impact right away. He's going to start right away, and I think he's going to have a fantastic rookie season.
Yeah, I definitely think Harbaugh was pretty psyched about it, the way he was chanting the fight song after he was picked.
Yeah, he was singing it in the war room. Yeah, that's pretty funny.
You don't see too many coaches
He's such a quirky dude, man. It's really funny.
He's kind of a
he's
goober,
unapologetically
but he's
himself.
smart. Yeah, exactly.
That's good. You want that in a coach. You don't want like a boring guy like Brandon Staley.
Well, you want authenticity too, right? I mean, you want somebody who's going to be the same person every single day, and that is definitely what Jim Harbaugh is.
And Junior Colson is tough, like you guys mentioned. He's tough as nails. I mean, he played last year with 2 clubs on his arm. I mean,
2 clubs.
Come on.
That's it.
He's ridiculous. Let's see if I can pull it up. He said, "Unless I can't physically move, I'm going to be out there playing." He played in all 43 Michigan games after enrolling at Ann Arbor.
Damn.
That's the type of mentality that Junior Colson brings to the table.
That's scary right there, man. That's like that old school Mean Joe Green, Ray Nietzsche type of linebacker. That's super stoked for you guys. I definitely think that the Chargers got one of the best grades out of all the teams, the way they drafted. You guys then went and got a few wide receivers to finish out the draft. You got Brendan Rice, Jerry Rice's son.
Yep.
I don't know how he felt with you guys, but yeah,
I don't understand that one. I mean, he was a 3rd, 4th round projection, and he slid all the way to the 7th round. That one made no sense to me, especially after watching his tape. I mean, this is a guy who he's going to make plays.
The lineage.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, obviously comes from one of the arguably the best wide receiver of all time in Jerry Rice.
And he had some really
he has that NFL bloodline, but and also he scored 12 touchdowns last year. It's like let's not forget that he was actually very productive. I mean, yeah, sure, he has a couple of things to iron out and work on, but the height, weight, speed combo for him to be there in the 7th round was ridiculous. But I love the fact that the Chargers added to their defensive line room with Justin Eboigbe out of Alabama, and they also grabbed 2 corners, and then they ended up triple dipping at wide receiver, which I don't think anybody was expecting after they took Joe Alt with their first round pick.
Damn it, I did it again. Sorry, man.
What's up?
Oh, you might not have heard that. You probably didn't hear anything, but I accidentally hit a little video. It started playing, and we heard it, but you didn't.
Gotcha.
So sorry about that. But
no, you're okay, man.
well, we don't want to keep you too much longer, man. I know you've got family needs and stuff tonight, so we greatly appreciate you hopping on. If you'd like to, one more time, just plug your stuff, and then we'll let you get on out of here. We greatly appreciate all of your expertise, man.
Hey, no problem at all. I'm happy to jump on. Everybody, you guys can definitely check out the Locked On Chargers podcast on YouTube or wherever you get your podcasts on audio. We're everywhere. You can follow me on Twitter at DroTalkSD. You can follow the show on Twitter at LockedOnLAC as well. If you guys have any Chargers questions or anything like that, please feel free to reach out to me or my co-host, Daniel Wade, and we'd be more than happy to chop it up with you guys.
Well, I appreciate that, man. Well, because we think next year it's going to be a battle royale for the AFC West crown, so we definitely want to have you back on in the future. That'd be great.
Sounds good. I'm looking forward to it, guys. I think it's finally going to be really true competitive, hard-nosed physical football like it used to be in the AFC West, and I'm ready for it.
Yeah, I definitely think so. I think it's going to be real tough for the Chiefs to repeat and make it 9 in a row. So, yeah, I'm looking forward to it, man.
Awesome. All right, guys. Well, like I said, appreciate the opportunity to jump on and talk some football with you guys, and I hope the best for you guys and your show.
Oh, thanks, man. We appreciate it.
Thanks a lot, David.
Have a good night, man. Thanks again.
Yes, sir. All right, guys. Take care.
See ya.
Fucking draft, dude. I was bouncing around on this draft thing on the interwebs, and that's what kept popping up. Okay. It's a stupid Lexus commercial. One of the pop-ups just kept playing. Damn it.
All right. Well, that was pretty good. It was nice to have him on. That was a real analyst. I mean, Locked On Chargers. If people don't know, if any listeners are out there, like we got a buddy that we had on in the very beginning, Charlie, that's a Vikings fan. If you're a Vikings fan, look up Locked On Vikings. The Locked On Network has like every team, NHL, NBA, and he does it for Locked On Chargers. I've been listening to the last few episodes. Those guys do a great job.
Yes, and again, that was David Droegemeier, Locked On Chargers podcast. Super rad having him on. Yeah, it's always great to get somebody else's take from another podcast, for one, and also one that is tapped in as much as they are to the Los Angeles Chargers. So
Yep. Nice.
that was definitely a good time. And now it is time for us to take a quick break and for you guys to hear some music. The name of this song is Get Movin'. Once again, this is by Boot Gun off of their new album, One for the Willing. This is the last week that we will have Boot Gun on, so we greatly appreciate them and their tunes. And check out this one as it gets going right now. are back for the second half of the episode. You just heard Boot Gun. The name of that song is Get Movin' off of their new album, One for the Willing, which you can purchase directly from them off of their Bandcamp, which is bootgun.bandcamp.com. So if you haven't yet and you dig what you heard, please go give them a like and a follow. You can catch them on all things streaming music-wise. And also, if you are in Denver, coming up on May 11th, they have a show at Cervantes for 10th Mountain Division's album release. So, again, May 11th at Cervantes. If you're in town, that should be a dang old good hootenanny, man. I haven't been to Cervantes in a really long time.
Me either. Lots of memories there.
Yeah, they play a lot of the music you like, or you used to like before you cut your hair.
Yep, as soon as I cut my hair, it's like that dropped out of the catalog.
But on that, we shall cheers to Boot Gun. So thank you, gentlemen, for the good tunes.
We appreciate it.
Appreciate it. Appreciate you guys. Oh, I got to think about this one for a second. I got to do a little... Ready?
What?
I just got to think about it.
Think about the
shot. Yeah,
Jesus,
I don't know why.
dude.
You ready?
Nut
Cheers.
up, man. All
Nut
right.
up, dude. Sack up, dude.
Cheers to David Droegemeier for coming on. We really appreciate
thanks,
it.
man. Cheers
That's
to
great.
you.
My cousin Rusty he'd be proud of me having a Chargers analyst on.
I like that you got a cousin named Rusty.
Yep.
That might be the coolest thing I've ever heard about you.
Well, how's that, Rusty?
I don't know. It's just cool, Dave.
Oh, yeah. He's a plumber, too. Rusty Martin.
Dude, now he's even cooler. Like I feel like
he's
that's
a
a
good dude.
quintessential plumber name.
Lived
Rusty.
in Austin, and he was a musician. He was in a band in Austin before Austin became cool to move to.
Yeah.
He moved from Austin
for Joe Rogan
7 or 8 years ago. But what we're gonna do right now is it would be way too much time to try to cover the entire draft. Maybe we'll trickle that in over the next few weeks and stuff.
Yeah.
We'll try to have on a few other guys from different teams. But right now, what Chris and I are going to do is a little bit of a biased buzzer beater where we just focus in on the Broncos and Chiefs draft pick, break those down, what we think of each one of those.
Yeah. So how about you start it? We'll let the Super Bowl champions go first.
I'm cool with that. All right, because I was very psyched Thursday night. Did not expect it. I really thought originally we would take one of the best offensive tackles. My pick was Jordan Morgan. I wanted them to take that offensive tackle, the second or third best tackle in the draft, but the Packers took him. And then instead we got Xavier Worthy, the fastest wide receiver in the draft, broke the 40-yard dash combine record.
4.21 seconds.
Yep. And, I mean, it's great because it's not even just like that he's one of those wide receivers that kind of had one good year in college or anything like that. He had over 60 receptions in all 3 of his years. Second team all Big 12 conference in 2022. In 2023, he was first team all Big 12 conference wide receiver and return specialist. Led the team with 75 receptions. And, I mean, this guy, you just look up his highlights. I mean, he was just a bolt. I mean, so many deep ball catches, and that's what the Chiefs have been lacking without Tyreek there. I mean, I think we were one of the last in the league with 20, over 40-yard plays.
Yeah.
You know, it's just going to fit in great.
For once.
Yeah, it's just nice. It's gonna be so great, and I don't think that this would have happened had Rashee Rice not have the incident that he did. So maybe it's a blessing in disguise. I don't know, but now.
Oh, fuck.
What was that?
Same thing again.
Okay.
So we're going to have to figure that out. But I was surprised that they they traded up for one, but then the real surprising thing was who the trade partner was.
Oh, yes. Thank you for mentioning this. I don't know. What's the best way to put this? If anybody's ever seen Austin Powers, there was a good way to compare this. I haven't seen it in a long time, but there's a scene in Austin Powers where he's at the casino trying to play blackjack, and he gets a 5. And the dealer's like, "Do you want to hit?" And he's like, "No, I'll stay."
Stay.
And the guy's like, "I
I'll
think
stay."
you want to hit." And Austin's like, "No, I'll stay." That's basically the mindset of the Bills GM. The Chiefs need a wide receiver. The Bills haven't been able to beat the Chiefs in the playoffs.
Yeah.
and instead they're going to help the Chiefs
Well,
get a wide receiver.
Not to mention, let's not forget that they also needed a wide receiver. So
Yes.
it was like,
what were you thinking?
what are you doing?
And not only that, the last time they helped the Chiefs, they traded their pick so the Chiefs could get Patrick Mahomes.
Yeah.
They could have possibly had Patrick Mahomes, but they
Nope.
didn't.
They don't.
So, yep, it's just the Bills being Bills.
Yeah, but I mean, regardless of Rashee Rice and his problems, you guys definitely needed help at wide receiver. That was one of the weakest points in the offense, if you will, last year, especially with all the drops.
Yep.
So let's hope he can, stay healthy for one, because we always know these fast guys tend to have a lot of hammy issues and ankles and stuff.
Just a stick. He's $165,
Yeah.
so I hope he puts at least another 10 pounds of muscle on. But, yeah, I think they're going to be able to use him right. And I imagine he won't even get a whole lot of looks. He'll probably be the return specialist for a while. Richie James will probably be in there a little bit more often. So we'll see. But I think it's going to give Patrick a little – I mean, you think about just like the possibilities. I mean, Kelsey just signed this new contract with Rashee. And Hollywood Brown. We got Hollywood Brown that runs like a 4.3 40. With those two guys taking the top off defenses, Kelsey's going to be a lot more open than he was last year.
Yeah, hopefully.
But let's get down to round 2. Kingsley Suamataia.
I'm going to give it a try.
Go ahead.
Suamataia.
I think that's it. Yeah. The Polynesian names are so hard for me.
I know him.
Yeah, offensive tackle from BYU. That's where Andy Reid went, so he's a little partial to the BYU guys. There's a real viral video that went out where this guy's in a pool about 4 feet, about 3.5, and jumps out of the pool like a vertical out to ground level. So he's got a lot of athleticism. Started 12 games at right tackle. We definitely needed to replace Donovan Smith. Well, that was at 2022 he started at right tackle. Then last year started 11 games at left tackle, missed the season finale due to injury. So this is a guy that's pretty big at 6'4", 326. That's exactly what we need. I'm pretty excited about it. He's got a lot of athleticism. Really what we needed. We needed an offensive tackle. We filled it.
Nice. Let's just do the top 3 picks.
Okay, well,
right, so
I'm going to...
the top
I'm going to
3
run
of
through
your
them
picks.
real fast because
Okay.
Jared Wiley, mentioned earlier, tight end out of TCU, led all FBS with touchdowns with, I think it was 12, I believe it was, and then led all FBS with 5 red zone touchdowns. Everybody knows the Chiefs were just really hurting last year in red zone, so this is something that's really needed. Last year, first team All Big 12 conference, started all 12 games. This is a guy that's super athletic, reminds me a lot of Blake Bell. I think he's going to fit in really well. He's 6'6", 249. He's a big dude. This next pick. This is my favorite pick of the draft. Even more so, I'll end it on this guy right here. Jaden Hicks. Look up this guy's highlights. This dude is a brawler. I think there's going to be times where he probably
fighting some
gets
people?
flagged for the way – no, not fighting, just the way he hits. Very physical, lays the wood. This is exactly what we need. We lost Mike Edwards to somebody. The Bills. The Bills is where he went. We needed to fill that hole. This guy plays out of Washington State. 1 sack, 1 interception, 6 pass breakups in 2022. Last year playing for just watch his highlights. He picked off Michael Penix last year. Jaden Hicks, the guy that I'm most excited about. This guy is a very physical safety. Just pay attention to this guy. Watch his highlights.
Yeah, he's got a pro comp from Matt Miller to Kyle Duggar. So
Yeah.
But it sounds like he's also a pretty good ball hawk too, so that's a nice thing to have as well. Someone who can blow some people up.
Yeah.
Go get them interceptions.
I'm very happy with the Chiefs picks. A few years sometimes in the past that we've taken some guys, you try to look up their highlights. They're coming from a school that's so small they don't even really have a highlight video accumulated. This year, all of them. Wow, this guy, I did not realize this. I wonder if it's the same Independence Community College that's right there near Parsons, Kansas. Kamal Hayden from Tennessee. This guy is basically an exact replica of L'Jarius Sneed. Both 6'1", 196. Their wingspan is exactly the same. I I think Brett Veach really wanted to just fill that void of L'Jarius Sneed, and you watch his highlights on Tennessee. The guy is a complete ball hawk, really goes to the ball and makes secure tackles, forced fumbles. And, yeah, I did not realize he came from Independence Community College. That's pretty awesome. That's the community college is about 15 minutes away from Parsons. Pretty cool.
Oh, dang.
Yep.
Little homegrown boy.
Yeah, that's pretty awesome.
All right, well, let's move over to the Broncos.
Let's do it.
As we hope, well, I hope anyways, that this draft is what they've been needing, as they have been struggling in the draft room as of late. So let's talk about their picks. So round 1, pick 12, a lot of people call it a reach, but he happened to fall to the Broncos, and they didn't have to do anything. People were thinking they might move up because pretty much everybody knew that Bo Nix was their guy. The only thing that happened that kind of threw a wrench in everything, which was the biggest surprise of the draft, was Atlanta drafting Michael Penix at number 8. And I guess there was supposedly a little bit of a trinity of agreement between the Vikings, the Raiders, and the Broncos that they were all going to collectively get their guy. The Vikings would get McCarthy, Broncos would get Nix, and the Raiders would get Penix. But when Penix was taken by the Falcons, that's when supposedly Sean Payton started kind of leaking it out that they might move up for McCarthy, which is supposedly what led the Vikings to trade up, and the Broncos get their guy, who Sean Payton loves. And I guess that's the one thing that I could say, as I'm just happy that the head coach has drafted his guy, and now his ego and his reputation is riding on it, because I don't think Sean Payton wants to fail. And I think with this being the guy that he wanted, the guy that he, kind of pegged from the beginning of the draft process as the guy, it's just good that they got him, and it's just nice to have some conviction behind a pick of a quarterback.
Oh, big time, man.
So,
I mean, it's way better than Paxton Lynch. Way better than Chad
bet.
Kelly.
Yeah.
I mean, it's leaps and bounds better than a lot of the other draft picks for QB that you guys have had in the past.
And depending on who you talk to, he's the 5th or 6th ranked QB this year, which was a given with Caleb Williams, Jaden Daniels, Drake May. The only thing was, Penix going ahead of him was a little bit of everybody thought Penix was going to go well
Second
down.
round.
Yeah, second. Both of them were supposedly second-round guys. But Nix broke the NCAA single-season record for completion percentage last year, 77.4. Led FBS in total touchdowns, 45, with 6 rushing touchdowns in 2023. Also only had 3 interceptions. He is very cerebral, as they say. He's very good at being able to execute the offense, and that's exactly what Sean Payton wants. So people draft this. I mean, in terms of like a grade, I see people giving this like a B. Some people are saying it's a terrible one. So it just really depends.
That's silly, man. I don't know.
I just think it's great that they got their guy, and now we can quit. Hopefully doing this quarterback carousel for at least 2 to 3 years.
Yeah, I just think
nice.
the experience behind Bo Nix speaks volumes to it, because I don't think it, he may not be as flashy as like a Caleb Williams or a Jaden Daniels, but when you have an experience like that, that means so much more, because
61 games in college.
I mean, dude, Brett Favre was very open about it, that he didn't even know what nickel defense was when he went to the NFL.
I think it was like a year or two in, he still had no idea.
Patrick was the same way. Patrick admitted that he was still learning a lot of the defenses when he came in, because with the air raid offense at Texas Tech was basically just like, let me just throw it.
Yeah.
And with Bo Nix, he's experienced so much, seen a lot of defenses, that he's going to be a lot more open and understanding of what Sean Payton's wanting from him.
Yeah, and also it's nice for a guy to face some adversity like he did at Auburn, and then he goes and moves to Oregon for 2 years and becomes a really good quarterback.
It's a high-powered offense.
Yeah,
man. How many points they put up on CU?
55 or something.
They put like 40 in the first half.
Yeah. So I'm excited about it. I'm just happy that we have a guy now that should theoretically barring any sort of craziness, should be starting for the next 2 to 3 years and hopefully longer.
Yep.
So he's at least tied to, the duration of Sean Payton if it doesn't work out. So
Sure.
second round, or I'm sorry, we didn't have a second round pick. Our second pick was in the third round. We get Jonah Ellis, linebacker out of Utah.
Yep.
And Ellis's father was a former Utah All-American defensive tackle, Luther Ellis, who played 10 seasons in the NFL. He's also Utah's defensive tackles coach. So it makes sense that this guy's going to get drafted. He comes from a long lineage of players. 3 of his brothers right now are in the NFL as well.
I didn't know that.
So let me see here. I thought it was going to say, but yeah, there's 3 of them.
Well, that's pretty cool. Does you got any stats or anything for him?
No, I don't want to tell you any stats about him.
All right.
Let me see here. He's a technical pass rusher who makes it tough for blockers to lock on. He had 12 sacks in 10 games in 2023, so that's pretty dang good for college, especially, an edge rusher. He's very disruptive. He can slip blocks, and he's also a good he can kick inside and rush the passer and also drop and do underneath coverage. Let's see what else. I think he was like the 10th ranked linebacker, but stats here. Now, of course, no available information because they switched it over to the NFL. So, yeah, I don't really have a ton of stats on him, but he's 6'2", 246 pounds. And like I said, the lineage alone, pretty wild. And his dad played for the Broncos, too, back in the day. So that's pretty cool. He gets to come and continue his dad's legacy with the Broncos. So
that's
pretty cool there.
Nice.
I was trying to find his brothers, though.
Well, let's get to round 4, man. That's the really exciting one. You guys took that wide receiver.
Yeah, so real quick, though. All 3 of Jonah's brothers, Caden is with the Atlanta Falcons, Christian with the Patriots, and Noah's with the Eagles. And they are all currently active players. But, yes, I was very excited about this pick because I'm a big fan of drafting a wide receiver that was in college with your quarterback that you're drafting, or even if you've already drafted that quarterback, like in the case of Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase. So you get these 2 guys that are extremely familiar with one another, and the Broncos kind of lucked out with Troy Franklin still being there. I guess he didn't test well, and that was the big problem as to why he fell. I don't know if it was just combine stuff or it was just the interviews or what, but he set the single-season record for receiving yards for Oregon, for yards, touchdowns, and 100-yard games in 2023. So he set all 3 of those records. Has extra gear to run by corners when he gets a clean release, and he tracks the deep ball well. He flashes ability to make defenders miss. Very productive wide receiver at Oregon, and the Broncos do need a little bit of help in the wide receiver room as they've let some guys go, and we lose the supposed best route runner of all time, Jerry Jeudy. And they've got to make some stuff. Well, they got to make room up and get some guys in there that are going to be able bodies. So,
well, let's talk about the new running back that you guys got from Notre Dame that looks like a replica of Brandon Jacobs, dude. Audric Estime. Is that how you say his name?
Yeah, Estime.
Dude, this guy's enormous.
If you get a chance, we're not going to spend too much time because we got to get into the playoff stuff. But if you get a chance, watch this guy. He did not run well at the combine. I think he had like a 4.7 or something like that. But this guy is a bruiser. Tons of broken tackles. He loves to just run into contact and continue running after contact. He ran for 18 scores in 2023. He led Notre Dame in rushing for the 2nd straight season. He's an effective pass blocker, and he has the ability to deliver the blow on contact.
He's jacked, dude. I saw a picture of him with him when he was training. He looks like a superhero.
He does.
Nervous,
yeah. Well, and the thing is, too, everybody is like, oh, he didn't run the 40 well, but you watch him. He runs away from guys. He's hurdling dudes in the open field. So
a running back doesn't need to be super fast unless you're on the Dolphins or something like that. All you got to get is 1 yard. You know, if it's 3rd and 1, that's all you got to do is get that 1 yard. Yeah, that's a damn good pick by you guys. Yeah, I'm actually. This is, I think, the first year the Broncos have had some draft picks that I'm actually a little worried about. Javonte Williams and some other ones in the past. I was, unfortunately he suffered some injuries, but I think the Broncos are really starting to do the right thing by letting the right management take the picks.
Yeah, and they're just drafting a bunch of football players, which I like. They're not really, looking at just how they did at the combine. They're really like looking at film and how these guys are going to be a vital part of the team moving forward. So I was excited about it. I mean, if I had to give it a grade, I'd probably go like C+, B-, maybe B-, just because you get your quarterback. But yeah, it could be better, but you don't have many picks, so it is what it is. So let's get into the NBA playoffs here as we run down this real quick. As in the Eastern Conference, the Miami Heat are down to the Boston Celtics 2-1. And the Celtics beat them up on Game 3 the other night, 104-84.
And right now we're watching this game. There's 4 minutes left to go in the second quarter, and the Celtics are up by 13 in Miami. It doesn't really seem like the Heat have any answer for the Celtics without Jimmy Butler. I think they're as good as dead. And now it's 47-31. So.
Yeah, so in the last game, the Celtics led wire to wire, and Miami just if they can't shoot the 3-point ball, they're dead in the water, and all of the facilitators are now injured with, like Chad just said, with Jimmy Butler being out. I don't think they have much of a chance to win this game. So
let's get into the one that I'm really excited about, because Philadelphia, their fan bases for all sports are widely criticized as like the worst fan bases. No knock on you guys, that's just what is said. But the Knicks beat the Sixers last night 97-92, and Jalen Brunson scoring a record for the Knicks playoff game, 47 points in a Game 4 win. I was following this game, most of it. Then I had to switch to, I think it was the different game, the Mavs Clips game. But, yeah, it was really close. And then right in the last few minutes, the Knicks pulled away. Because, I mean, the Sixers were pretty much leading most of the game. But Jalen Brunson, man, he finally has a good playoff game. He had a really rough first 3 games, but then in this Game 4, just took it over. But I think the story of the game is how the New York Knicks took over Ticketmaster to fill at the Sixers Stadium and chant MVP as Jalen Brunson finished out his 47 points. And Joel Embiid did not like that.
No, they were also chanting "fuck Embiid" pretty loudly in the I guess it'd be like the atrium where all the people come down the escalator to leave.
Yep.
So yeah, the Philly fans did not show up, and the Knicks fans made the 2-hour jaunt down the highway into Philadelphia and took over the arena. And Jalen Brunson had his second highest scoring game of his playoff career, but the highest ever by a New York Knicks player in the postseason.
That seems really hard to
believe.
believe.
It does seem with all the players.
Of the great ones, Patrick Ewing, other ones.
Yeah, all of them.
I know. Not a lot.
Carmelo for a while.
Starks, that was a good one back in the day.
Stoudemire, there was some pretty good ones.
There's a few ones, definitely.
But yeah, so Jalen Brunson basically scores half of their points in this game.
Yeah, pretty amazing.
If they held him to even just 40 points, they would have won this game. So that's on them. Josh Hart also has 17 rebounds. Joel Embiid, 27 points and 10 rebounds. He's dealing with some issues. Got Bell's palsy going on. Finally got his face back a little bit, but he had like a droopy face for a little while, which is always scary.
I'm not really sure what Bell's palsy is. Do you know?
It's like a nerve in your face gets swollen, and like your face just quits working on one side.
Oh shit!
So like he literally like had like it looked like he had a stroke or something.
Whoa.
So definitely a scary thing to have happen to you. But he seems to be back. But I don't know if they're going to be able to pull this off, as the Knicks now have a commanding 3-1 lead, and they're going back to New York for Game 5, which could be it. For Embiid. So, yeah.
Yep. All right, let's get to the other East game where, like we mentioned earlier, Milwaukee's just riddled with injuries with Dame. Dame was trying to carry the team as much as he could when I was trying to watch this game the other day, but when Dame was playing, I think it would have been game 3. He was doing all he could, but it wasn't enough. I mean, it really was just all on him. But he seems to have suffered somewhat of like an Achilles or calf injury, and in game 4, the Pacers pulled out 126-113. They have another commanding lead, 3-1, and they will be going. Game 5 will be in Milwaukee. Yep.
And that is tomorrow night. In that last game, Turner and Halliburton combined for 53 in the win. Without Giannis and with Dame out, who else? Somebody got tossed in the first quarter too for punching somebody in the face. Was it Bobby Portis Jr. or something?
Yeah,
like
I think
that?
it was Bobby Portis.
Portis ejected after scuffle with Nembhard. They're kind of crumbling right now, and Doc Rivers is at the helm, and we'll see if he's going to stick around for year 2 after all of this. Man.
Yep, started out
31-13
or something.
Yeah, I
like
can't
that.
wait to hear the exit interview or the exit press conference here. But let's roll into the Western Conference as the Cleveland Cavaliers and the Orlando Magic are tied 2-2.
Did you say let's roll into
sorry.
Western? No, that's
the Eastern Conference.
Yeah.
Sorry. Let's finish up the Eastern Conference as the Cleveland Cavaliers are tied with the Orlando Magic 2-2 here. They just played. Was it Saturday or Sunday? The Magic beat the Cavaliers 112-89. Let's see. That's not really a very entertaining.
Oh yeah, it's hilarious. Everybody said like, has anybody seen any highlights from
No.
this? And it pretty much just means that nobody hasn't been too interesting.
Yeah,
I mean it's kind of crazy because the Cavs started off the series really good, but then down in Orlando, the Magic really put a whooping on them in both games.
Yeah, they got that Florida, whatever you want to call it,
The swamp in Orlando.
The swamp. Okay, now let's move into the Western Conference. Chad, go ahead, take it away.
All right, we'll start off with the team that just finished off their series. The Timberwolves, they look scary. 40 points by Ant last night. Swept the Suns, and they beat them 122-116. And Ant is just taunting, living on cloud 9 right now because he's hitting everything.
Yeah, he had 7 threes in that game.
Yeah, doing whatever he wanted, taunting,
Dunking on people
in front of KD's face. And, KD doesn't even mind it because there's nothing he can do about it. The Suns just look like a shell of themselves. It's just sad.
We got into it earlier, and no idea what they're going to do, but now the Timberwolves, the Tim Connolly built Timberwolves, former GM of the Nuggets, are very scary.
Yep.
And
they're rolling.
They are rolling, and it is the best time to be rolling. We'll see if the Chris Finch injury has any issues for them, but I mean, at this point in time, these guys are just playing basketball. So
yeah,
they're
they
gonna
already
be
are
okay.
back in the gym after they're not even resting. There's photos of them in the gym weightlifting, so they're taking it pretty serious.
Dude, getting swole.
Yep. All right.
Let's move into the Mavericks and the Clippers. This
is a good
series tied 2-2. This is probably going to be one of the better first-round series. More than likely going to go 7 games. But Luka is looking like a shell of himself right now. Kyrie goes off. Looks like the OG Kyrie in the beginning. What was the thing he did when he dressed as an old guy?
Oh, Uncle Roscoe or something
like that.
Yeah.
I can't remember. But, I mean, he's balling out of his mind. And Paul George had 26 first-half points, but it was not enough in this game. It was enough in that game as the Clippers won 116-111. That was yesterday, if I'm not mistaken. Kyrie Irving, 40 points. Luka Doncic, 10 rebounds, 10 assists. What did his points get in that one? Because he was having a rough go shooting the ball yesterday.
Yeah.
Luka Doncic, 29 points, still a triple-double for him, but it was not a very pretty triple-double, which is a crazy thing to say. But, yeah, that game was a good one yesterday. But, yeah, they fell down 31 points, I think, in, like, the first quarter.
Yeah.
And the Mavericks just stormed back and get it to where they had the lead at one point.
Mm-hmm.
And then the Clippers just kind of shut the door on them there at the end. But definitely interested to see how this one goes. Go ahead.
They play again Wednesday night TNT, 8 o'clock in LA.
In LA.
Yep.
Yes.
Yeah, Kawhi's playing, but kind of limit on minutes. Isn't really putting up a lot of shots. Almost
I
using
heard
his-
he's got knee issues again. The inflammation has reared its ugly head.
Continuing with that.
Yeah, let's move into the Oklahoma City Thunder and the New Orleans Pelicans. The Thunder are dominating them 3-0 right now. The real only time that they were worried was game 1, and that was the game in which I can't think of his name. Who got hurt? The big guy. Zion, Jesus. Zion got hurt in that first game, and that was the only time really the Pelicans had a chance, and it looked like they might have figured out the Thunder. After that, the Thunder are just beating up on them, 124-92, 106-85. Game 4 is tonight at 6:30, I believe. Well, so right now it's starting. Yeah, I expect that one to be over tonight as well. So hopefully we have a couple ending tonight. Chad, why don't you tell us which one we really hope ends tonight as we finish up the Western Conference?
Yeah, we'll finish on our Nuggets where they were up 3-0 on the Lakers, and then Saturday night their shoes didn't show up because the bus delivering their shoes somehow got delayed. I'm going to blame somehow LeBron and
the old
posse.
shoe bus.
Yeah. I bet some kind of car got parked in front of the bus and wouldn't move. Just my hunch. So they were practicing in slides, just kind of threw off their whole routine. And, yeah, they were not playing very good. Murray ends up getting a little banged up. He's questionable for tonight, which really sucks. They're a totally different team when Murray isn't playing. And, yeah, they get a chance to close it out tonight in Denver at 8 o'clock on TNT. They shot really bad Saturday night. LeBron was having a resurgence, getting some alley-oops. But, I mean, I think what we were talking about, it just really seemed like they were trying to not show their hand.
Yeah, it just kind of seemed like they're like, let's let them have their fun.
Yep.
And then we'll go home and we'll step on their throats and put them out of their misery and send them packing.
And that's the only thing that's got me worried is
Can't
they showed
on
that.
3.
Yeah, they showed that graphic where the Lakers have led like 114 minutes out of this series, and then the Nuggets have only led like 43.
But they lead when it matters the most.
Exactly.
When the final buzzer.
It's and you could
It
give
is
a
scary,
pat on the
though.
back for that, but then when you see teams like the Thunder and the Timberwolves just go in there and handle business, that's what you would expect for it to happen.
Yeah, and that's what we hope happens tonight.
Yeah,
we hope
but-
the Nuggets go in there and just get it done.
You can take it as it is. The problem is the Timberwolves are just playing. They were just playing the Suns, and the Thunder are just playing the Pelicans, but the Nuggets are playing the Lakers and the refs. That's what they're having to do.
Yeah.
And there's no question about that. We got to bring it up. It went real viral. LeBron, he was right. The ball wasn't out on him, but he threw an absolute temper
Oh, and he yelled at Darvin Ham.
jumping up and down like a baby.
I thought he was going to lay down and kick his legs.
Oh, my God. I thought his diaper needed changed afterwards. It was completely embarrassing. I'll say it again. I've said it many times. Horrible example for the youth that plays basketball. If you don't get a call, you do not act like that. That is so embarrassing. I just cannot. I am praying the Nuggets put them to bed tonight, and maybe LeBron has an eye-opening, epiphany where he realizes, okay, maybe I'll just call it quits and I'll just focus on the executive producer of all these horrible movies and shows I put out, and then just move on so we don't have to see this anymore. It is just pathetic. My girlfriend, who really only watches basketball when I put it on, can see clear as day how much of a baby he is on the court. It ruins basketball. It's awful, and I really am not even looking forward to seeing him in the Olympics. It makes me want to cheer for teams like Serbia.
Yeah.
Come on.
We got a rooting interest there a little bit. But
You're taking away my patriotism.
damn you.
Yeah.
No more nationalism.
Yeah. So, Game 5 tonight.
Yeah,
Take
so
care of business,
let's hope it ends. Let's move over to the NHL. We didn't really hit the headlines in the NHL, but we're going to fly through this because we are behind a little bit here. So let's get into the playoffs here. As we go into the first round, the Atlantic Division, you've got the Panthers versus the Lightning, and the Florida is ahead 3-1 in the series. They just won Game 4 Tampa Bay won Game 4 6-3 over Florida. The next game
they just scored again.
Is right now.
Yep.
It's happening as we speak.
They just went up 2-0.
Florida's up 2-0, so they are looking to stomp out the Lightning. So we'll see if that can happen tonight. Let's move into the Bruins and the Maple Leafs, as Boston leads that series 3-1. Boston just won Game 4, 3-1 against Toronto. That was, when was that game?
Saturday.
It was, it was yesterday, Sunday. So, yeah, Boston wins that one 3-1. They now have a 3-1 series lead. Moving into the Metropolitan Division, the Rangers and the Capitals. The Rangers sweep the Capitals, and Ovechkin, took a lot of the blame for this one. Says he wasn't playing up to par, but the guy's old. What do you expect from him?
He's like 40 years old.
So, yeah, and they were pretty commanding. The only close game was Game 2, New York 4, Washington 3. Other than that, Game 1, 4-1. 3-1, and Game 4, 4-2. So the Rangers have not yet felt the wrath of the President's Cup curse, but we'll see if they will here in the next couple weeks. Moving into the Hurricanes and the New York Islanders, Carolina leads that series 3-1, and the last game, Game 3, Carolina won 3 to the Islanders 2. So Carolina's leading 3-1 there. Are you following along? Do you want to have some of these, Chad, or you want me to just keep cruising?
No, let's go to the Golden Knights and Stars. The Stars are up. They won Saturday 3-2, but that was their only game they've won, where the Golden Knights lead the series 2-1, and they
play tonight. So we'll see what goes on there.
Yep.
Let's go to the Winnipeg Jets and the Colorado Avalanche.
Yep.
The Avalanche, who looked shaky in the first game, have now found their footing, and they are a rockin' and a rollin', as now they have effectively shut down the supposed Vezina winner, Hellebuck, who I think in his last 9 games didn't even allow 4 goals total, has now allowed over 4 goals in every single game.
Yep.
He was pulled going into the third period on Sunday, and we'll see if he gets to start in Game 5 at Winnipeg tomorrow, but it's looking like the Avs may wrap this one up over there in Canada.
Yep, tomorrow night. And, I think it speaks a lot to how they made some adjustments, because there was a lot of shots on goal in those first couple of games, and Georgiev just was not able to keep up with it. But I think the defense are the ones that have really helped him out, because they have overwhelmed the Jets on shots on goal, as opposed to the Jets.
Having Nichushkin get in front of him, too, has really helped.
Yep.
He's just a big body there that just allows no sight around him. So Hellebuck's having a definite hard time with him. But let's wrap this up with the Pacific Division. Vancouver Canucks and the Nashville Predators. Oh, I'm sorry. We're just now getting into the Pacific Division. The Canucks and the Predators. Vancouver leads 3-1. They won Game 3 2-1. And that was, I believe, Saturday.
They played Sunday.
Oh, was it Sunday? It said the 26th.
It says 4-3. They went to OT.
Oh, shit.
Yep.
Well, so I can't even read, so what am I doing?
Yep, they won 4-3, but that's the game where it went really viral that Taylor Lewan chugged a beer on the big Jumbotron, and then had his daughter chug some water. It's pretty hilarious.
That's some good stuff there. So the Edmonton Oilers and the Los Angeles Kings. Edmonton leads that one 3-1. Last game, Edmonton won 1-0 over Los Angeles, and they play May 1st in Edmonton. So looks like they played yesterday.
Yep.
So. All right. Well, that wraps up.
First round's almost done.
Yep, we're getting through it. It's that time of the show. It's time for the DDOE, and that means it's time for the man, the myth, the legend himself to grip it, rip it, and sip it hard, man.
I hit it hard, man. So far, man. No laying up, no holding back. Ain't afraid of nothing, it's a natural fact. I hit it long, man. Till it's gone, man. Keep taking chances, living large. I hit it hard.
That's right. We hit it hard each and every week, and each and every week we like to focus on one person, whether that be famous person, regular person, whatever it may be, but someone who has done something excellent. And today we are choosing our first ever double dip of the Daily Dose of Excellence. It's the DDDOE.
I don't
Double
remember
dip of daily
why we
dose
chose
of
her.
excellence.
Yeah, DDDDE.
DDDDOE.
I can't remember why we chose her that last time, but I mean, she was, I'm sure, very deserving of it. But it is Candace Parker. On Sunday, she announced her retirement after 16 years in the WNBA. This is easily one of the GOATs of the WNBA. Two-time national champion at Tennessee under Pat Summitt, RIP. Just a complete baller in all aspects. And I mean, even going forward as a TNT analyst and NBA TV, she's great on screen, great behind the desk. Just to name some of her accolades. I mean, it was just easy to choose this after the career that she had. She was selected number 1 overall from the 2008 WNBA draft. Dominated the league in her first year. Actually, the only time there has been a Rookie of the Year and MVP in her first year.
Yeah, and so you mentioned she was drafted by the Sparks. She spent 13 seasons on the Sparks, 2 seasons with the Sky, and 1 season with the Las Vegas Aces, winning a championship with each team. She was a very versatile player, mainly played the forward and center positions. And let's see what else she did. I mean, there's just so
she
much.
Won WNBA Defensive Player of the Year in 2020. And if she had finished out the year last year, she got hurt and she didn't even finish with the Aces, but they still went on to win the championship. There's a lot of talks that they just would have rolled through the New York Liberty. I mean, they were dominating everybody all year long, and they had a couple injuries last year. But Asia Wilson was really the only star that lasted throughout the whole year. But, I mean, if Candace Parker had finished, there's a lot of talks that they just would have blown out the Liberty in the finals.
Yeah, I'm going to run down her career highlights and awards real quick, and I'm going to do it super fast because there is so many. It's insane. 3-time WNBA champion, WNBA Finals MVP, 2-time WNBA MVP, 7-time WNBA All-Star, WNBA All-Star Game MVP, 7-time All-Star WNBA First Team, 3-time All-WNBA Second Team, 2-time WNBA All-Defensive Second Team, WNBA Rookie of the Year, WNBA All-Rookie Team, WNBA Defensive Player of the Year, WNBA Assist Leader, 3-time WNBA Rebounding Leader, 3-time WNBA Peak Performer. It goes on and on. 5-time Russian National League Champion, 4-time Russian Cup winner, Euro League Champion, 2-time NCAA Champion.
2-time gold medalist,
Yeah.
2008 and 2012.
It was really hard to say WNBA that many times in a row.
It is kind of
WNBA,
a tongue twister.
WNBA. Blah, 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 blah.
But this is, she says,
Jinx.
this is the beginning. I'm attacking business, private equity, ownership. I will own both a WNBA and WNBA team, broadcasting, production, boardrooms, beach volleyball, and dominoes with the same intensity and focus I did basketball. So she has high goals, and I believe she's going to achieve them all. It was easy to choose this as the DDOE because not a lot of people who, follow WNBA, but most of them can know, you could pick out a few stars from the WNBA, and most times if you were to ask a casual fan, name 3 stars from the WNBA, Candace Parker is probably going to be the first one.
Sue Bird.
Yep.
Yeah, after that it gets a little iffy in terms of greats, but that's just because I'm dumb and I don't know much. I'm not educated.
Hats off to Candace Parker, and what a
Indeed.
career she had.
What a career. And you are the Daily Dose of Excellence, Candace Parker. We hope you wear this badge of honor like you wear the long list of badge of honors that you have.
Put this fictional trophy in your trophy case.
Yes, and on that note, we cheers to you, Candace Parker, and each and every one of you that tuned in this week.
Yes.
We greatly appreciate you.
Thanks for listening.
If you haven't yet, make sure to like, share, subscribe, and follow us on all things social media, and make sure to subscribe and leave us a review and rate us 5 stars on whatever you watch or listen to us on.
And
Please.
thanks again to David Droegemeier from Locked On Chargers.
Yes, thank you very much, Chad. Cheers to you, sir.
Cheers to you, buddy.
Love you, buddy.
Well done.
Well done indeed. We'll catch you guys next week.
Cheers, guys.
Woo. It's very good. Woo! Love you guys. We'll see you next week. Bye-bye.